Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to some more Faction War content. Yesterday, we had Ogre Tribe plus Undead Horde, which, if you're watching this video in the future, it's probably irrelevant for you. But those ball stages, specifically for Ogre Tribe, was some of the hardest stuff. A lot of the comments agree as well. Maybe we'll go through some of the comments. If you guys would like that in these video replays, let me know. But today we have High Elves, Orcs, and Barbarians. Barbarians and High Elves are two of the best factions for free champions. Barbarians, we have champions like Thor, champions like Armons, Silva Drakes, and then High Elves, of course, we have Arbiter. And then we have a dog that looks like an eagle, but it's a High Elf. Either way, I think they have some other good free champions, right? Deliana, you get her, Royal Guard. Either way, let's jump in here. Let's start off with Barbarians. This is probably the easiest for most players. Stage 7. This is which boss? Let's see. Tainted Dueler. So AoE attack on the A1. The A2 transfers all debuffs from the Tainted Dueler to all enemies. I think I fought this on Demon Spawn previously, and I didn't really have a chance to test it out because my Heffrack just one-shot everything. I'm not complaining, but that's just what happened. Places Reflect damage buff on Tainted Dueler for 2 turns. Also Provoke. Feels Tainted Dueler's turn meter by 2% for every 1% HP lost when attacked. Only counts damage from attacks. If Tainted Dueler has a turn meter filled by 20%, places Berserk on the attacker for 2 turns. Does he have a counterattack stuff? Turn meter fill, which is really annoying. This may not be too bad for people, especially with Armons and stuff. I kind of want to get a Turvold in here. I don't have a massive hitter in this faction. I have Rorik, who may be just my best option as far as damage dealer goes. Let's go ahead and put a attack banner on him just for the sake of, hey, let's squeeze out a little bit more damage possibly. We'll throw him in here. I don't expect for this to be super difficult. My Yakarl, is he built? He is built, guys. We actually got some champions built today. Not built very well, though. He's built a little bit sloppily. She's built well. Silva Drakes is built. Cantor is built. So I went through and built some champions for this faction a while back. We have Elder Scar, who actually can hit pretty hard as well, I believe. But he would need some love. Be ascended and all that kind of good stuff. But let's go ahead and see, guys. We have 100 turns to do this in. Can we get it done in 100 turns? Tahanarok is honestly a great champion to have for here as well. The block buffs, obviously, if you have Armons, it's probably going to be a lot easier. You can do some turn meter steal. You can do some strips. You can do all kind of good stuff that Armons brings. The insane champion that he is. So just something to keep in mind there. No Armons here. No Thor either. Those 2 champions alone can probably make this significantly easier. If you don't have them, you're going to have to branch out to some other champions. Esme was a fusion. Obviously, Tahanarok's not free. You could get her from a limited time promo code. But actually, Esme is going to place the block buffs on everybody. So that could be great for the Tainted Dueler as well, right? We have some stuff coming from over here. Let's go ahead and steal a turn meter. Looks like they're mocking us from yesterday. They're throwing the Ogre Tribe only in these waves. They're like, yeah, we can do this fine. Ogre Tribe only is easy. Now, we do have a Reviver. It's an okay one, I guess. With Silva Drakes. Single target res. I'm not for sure how many, like non-single target revivers Barbarians have. Okay, so this guy does not have a assistance. No minions beside him, which actually makes this a lot easier. Well, say that right now. That's not necessarily guaranteed, but he is going to transfer all debuffs from Tainted Dueler to all enemies. We have no cleanse champion. Oh no, we do actually to Tahanarok. So of course you're definitely going to want a cleanser. If you have some good turn meter control, honestly, you're probably just going to be really wanting to do that. Now, whenever he takes damage, he boosts turn meter, right? So this is going to reduce the turn meter some. It's over 50%, never mind. So whenever he takes damage, he's boosting his turn meter a little bit. If we don't do a ton of damage, he should be okay. But I do want to do a lot of damage as well. And this is just a typical annoying faction war boss here. The cleanse. This one may just be the easiest. Honestly. We're at 70 turns, though. Tahanarok is going to really make this easier with the cleanse, but she's not speed tuned correctly. Her cleanse is way down that line. We're at 74 turns, so that's going to be the biggest issue here. 78 turns. I really need her to cleanse a little bit earlier, to be honest. All right, so we'll place this back up there. Oh, the Pain Link. That's interesting. Not in a good way. I don't like that. Kill him. That's actually perfect timing there. 88 turns. Can I finish this before 100 turns? I need some like counterattack stuff happening here. I should be okay. 93. 95. 96. 97. Perfect. 97 turns. So there does need to be an improvement on my damage dealers I bring in here. But the supports were fine. Doesn't seem to be a super difficult boss compared to yesterday's especially. But maybe not the easiest. Let's see. Okay, so for the burns, I used... let's see, who do I want to get rid of here? I used Elder Scarg last time. He is a very solid champion for this. I don't think he was built amazingly. I may change his build a little bit. 1 second, guys. Got some allergies going on. I don't like sneezing right into the mic. But yeah, some good old allergies happening here. Burns are up. We got 4 out of 10 already. This can just be an auto way. Let's do this full auto. No problem. 1 second while this runs. I will be right back. So we finished up this burn stage here. It wasn't super difficult. It was basically just left it on auto, let Elder Scarg do his thing. And let's move on to the next one. Once we finally kill Gorgrab, assuming he doesn't res everybody. That would be pretty annoying. We're good to go. All right, next stage. Place 15 plus stuns. Silva Drakes, once again, very easy. Who else places stuns? Armand's super easy. No reason to even jump into this and explain it. So we'll just go ahead and press play on this once more. Go ahead and cut this to the end. There's no reason to even show this. I think you guys understand what's going to happen. Jingwan's going to be annoying and do the same stuff as he done before, basically. So yeah, fun stuff here. Having to deal with that, but either way, we'll just let it run and it should be fine. Guys, so we're at the end of this stage with the stuns. It was just full auto, 4 minutes. I imagine most of you are going to do the same thing. Throwing your Armons, throwing your Silva Drakes. This dude right here, Rourke, he can also play some stuns. Pretty simple stuff, to be honest. Just keep your champions alive, do the stuns, and eventually kill the waves. There's no turn limit as far as the conditions. There is a turn limit overall, but you're going to be fine. You should be fine. It's really just a damage check because this faction has plenty of stun champions. So now let's move over to the one that's probably going to be the most annoying. It's going to be Orcs. Today we have Tainted Disruptor. So an AoE attack, True Fear Provoke, and block debuffs. Full heal, everything except for Tainted Disruptor. Places Taunt on Tainted Disruptor for 2 turns, okay. Attack, 30% chance of placing Freeze. So basically if we have block debuffs, we're going to be pretty good. Who in Orc can bring block debuffs other than Warlord? Is he the only champion who can bring block debuffs? Is that actually true? Is he the only champion in the entirety of Orcs that can bring block debuffs? Shayak does not, right? No. That is okay. Raka does. Okay, so she's an option. Bells does not. Denag does not. I think he does, right? No, he doesn't. But he does stuff with HP burns. Yeah. So this is gonna be. Oh no. I thought Survivor did. I thought one of the epics did. Obviously not, because I have these epics not showing up for the filter. But that's gonna be interesting. If you don't have Warlord, let's get to the boss and see what happens. Of course, I'm gonna use Warlord because I have him, so there's no reason to not. We'll throw in Artak if he's built, I think. Actually, maybe not. Let's see. Who could I use here? Gonna use him for sure. Jag is not built. Garrel's built. A little bit of a easy option there. Just throw in Garrel. If you have Garrel, of course, you're gonna use the Garrel. But she should make it a lot easier for me. She's gonna work through these waves so quick that a lot of the times I'm just not gonna be able to use her because of how fast she's just gonna kill everything. which uses A1. But Robar could be probably very similar. But Orcs can definitely be a very frustrating faction for sure. Where to use his block debuffs? Orcs are kind of lacking support champions, aren't they? Actually, I feel like Orcs are lacking a lot of champions. Orcs and Ogrins. For some reason, Plarium doesn't have very much love for these factions, I don't think. They just don't have a lot of love for them. We do have Tagore, which is a fantastic, epic. But as far as other ones, we're kind of limited. So you guys let me know how you went about doing this and how it was for you. We'll do this. Get 3 crits. Reduce some turn meter. Boost a little bit of speed, you know. Have her join in the attack. Boom, boom, boom. Gets angry. Hulk smash. AoE decrease defense. More turn meter decrease. I mean, if you can decrease turn meter, you're in a decent spot, right? Potentially. Not for sure why they counterattacked. Did they counterattack or did they just get a hit? I'm not for sure. I have no clue. We'll go ahead and do block buffs here. Okay. Good job, Garrow. Good job. Dang. Garrow's going crazy. Okay, so now, places taunt. Not a huge deal. Looks like she tried to lock me out based on the animation, but I don't think she actually did. So the taunt is not a huge deal because we have AoE champs. That's very frustrating. That fear, that's very, very frustrating. If that's constantly proccing on you. The provoke, same thing. Provoke, I mean, it's different because the fear is you just 50-50 shot. Maybe you land it, maybe you don't, maybe you trigger it, maybe you don't, who knows. The provoke, you have to use your A1. Either way, there we go. GG's, on to the next one. We have stage 8. We're going to place 15 plus provokes. Not going to be too bad with Garrel. If you don't have Garrel, it's going to be basically provoke set on Artak. Debuffs, provoke. Get a few provoke champions, not a ton. So it's really just going to be Garrel. Let's see how she can do for the provokes. For me, but like I said, Artak could be a good one as well. It'll probably be the option for most players, to be honest. Back to the whole lack of support champions. What turn meter manipulation do, or what cleansers do we have in Orcs? Very limited, right? There's definitely a few. Can't think of them on top of my head. May have to look into that because these poisons are a little bit annoying. But here we're just gonna cycle through stuff. It's basically just gonna be Garrel getting through the stages, using her A2. Really nothing super special, so I'll probably just cut this and skip it. There's really no reason to showcase it, I don't think. It's going to be just going through these waves, place and provoke, and on to the next one. If somebody dies, having Tagore pull off the res, and then we're good to go. So we have to land 15. So I need to make sure I'm killing these waves kind of slowly. So that next wave she gets to use her provoke as soon as possible, basically. And I need to get 2 probably on the last wave. So something's going to be a little bit tricky. It's going to be the most tricky part about this, basically. We do have Stone Skin, so I'm not going to get locked out there, which is great. She could probably be built a little bit faster. Oh, man. So we got 7 provokes. All right, so this is just going to be a little bit of like not necessarily RNG, but trying to finesse this to allow me to actually provoke everybody twice. Because she's hitting pretty hard. I may have to lower her damage a little bit. I thought I just placed it. Last time she got lucky and placed it on everybody, I guess. But that is not the case. She hits pretty daggone hard from it. So we'll hit some champs who have a little bit more HP. Artak may have to come in here, or may have to just drop Robar. Just not have any damage dealers here, other than Garrel. All right, guys, we're going to kind of yellow this. Not really. We're going to see if this kills everybody. It probably will. Okay, we got 3 provokes. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. I was trying to save the block damages and let the Blind Seer actually do the res. Took a place to provoke back up, and she did the res, got the provoke. Gorgorab was left with block damage, so that if they were able to, if I accidentally killed most of them, at least Gorgorab wouldn't be dead, right? So now we got to play some stuns. Debuffs, stun. Is this another Artak situation? Robar can do a stun. Is it AoE? No, it's single target. Huh. Good old single target stuns. Yeah, look. He's already in a stun set. Wait him. The Artak was already ready. All right. It's trying to tell me that these other champions are better for stuns, when in reality, Artak is the only option, basically. Decrease all their stuff. It's not actually the only option, obviously. But Artak's going to be the best option. Most likely. And this will probably be another stage where I just pause and skip it, actually. Oh, man. Do we just have no other stun champion? Is it just going to be let it run? Hopefully Artak places enough stuns. I think it probably is, actually. Oh, baby. This is going to be a long one. Guys, so finally at the very end of this, 15 out of 15, took me almost 7 minutes. Basically, let's call it 7 minutes. These stun stages without like a good AoE stun champion are just really just RNG. It just takes a while. That's all it is. But either way, let's see how this plays out. Boom, there we go. Should be 3 stars, no problem. Easy peasy. All right, so now next stage is going to be High Elves. So for High Elves, we have 4, 5, and 6, which is relatively easy, hopefully. Reduce 6+ enemies HP with 50%, or about 50% with 1 skill. So Yannicka, are you built to do damage? You kind of are. Let's see how this works. YOLO Yannicka, right? YOLO Yannicka into this. Fina makes this a little bit easier as far as the damage being dealt. Shirmani was here for the freezes. This dude actually could be really solid as far as damage. Yeah, he's actually fine. So we'll blast the Necmo. There we go. GG's and 4 out of 6 already. Now we just have to wait for this thing to get rid of the block damage. Basilius was built. So this should be a pretty easy stage for most players, I'd say. I mean, Yannicka is a free champion. You get her from Clan Shop, I think, or Tag Team Arena. I forget which one, but you can get her. It doesn't take that long. And she can be built for good damage. She doesn't need crazy investments. Let's get some A2s popping off Arbiter. If you don't have a presets set, she just doesn't use her A2. As far as I'm aware, she just lets the enemies kind of just buffs. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it used to be. All right, so here we go. Boom. Dropping them all. 6 out of 6. Yeah, this is not too bad. And I think this should be fine for most players as well. There's royal guards out there, all kinds of stuff. Manipulate buff or debuff duration 20+ times. He has a buff extension, doesn't he? No, why did I think he did? Why did I think he had a buff extension? Who has a buff extension? Positive effect. Increased buff duration. Okay. Not a champion I'm going to be using right now because they're not built. Decrease buff duration. Islin has some stuff like that, doesn't he? He's A2. Okay, of all enemy buffs. Let's see. Let's just throw him in there. Why not? I do use him for Chimera, but we have a chance of getting some other stuff extended just from placing it. So really not a difficult objective, basically. It's really just going to be procking that mastery. When Fina does her stuff, just hoping it procs, basically. Maybe we should slow it down a little bit, just let Fina keep taking her turns, because apparently we're doing too much damage here. Doing a little bit too much. It's really just her farming. Fina farming. We may have some from Islin as well. No, I guess not. We can do this, reduce them all by 1 turn, basically. Yeah. So we're fine. It's not too bad at all. Fina's a pretty crazy champion. Having that extra turn with the allies on the same team into the A2 makes it a super low cooldown on that ability. We're done. There we go. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how good that is. She enables, of course, the Trunda teams, but Faction Wars, she's a huge help. One of the better faction unity champions, definitely. One of the most impactful for the Trunda teams if you have her, but it's so many parts. So just having her is not necessarily enough. Manipulate turn meter 40 plus times, which is super, super easy. You can use Lysandra to make it even better, but to be honest, it's just Arbiter. She's turn meter boosting. Yeah, we get 18 out of 20 that very first little go around, and this is full auto. These are the stages that make sense, right? Turn meter boosting, high elves. Manipulate turn meter, high elves, easy. Arbiter is a free turn meter boosting champion. That's like Skinwalkers having a deal max HP damage. Well, kind of, because Marius is harder to get than Arbiter by a lot. But this is good stuff where it's a free champion can just basically handle this themselves. And Arbiter, of course. To be fair, the High Elves have a lot of different champions, so I feel like they give a lot of love to High Elves. Very, very different than the Orcs. Though High Elves aren't necessarily a great faction, they do get a lot of free champions. They do have some really powerful champions as well. But I feel like they're definitely not one of the top factions. Well, I guess I can't really say that. They have Galathier. Galathier is insane. They have good supports. But I don't know, maybe they are just good. Maybe I just don't like the way they look or something. Maybe I'm hating on them for no reason. So we're long done with that mission or the objective thing. Let's go ahead and kill Elva. Or whoever we can kill. Placing stuns would be great with Basilius. All right, we're good to go. I gotta keep making sure we're good. 3 stars. Bada bing, bada boom. Next time is gonna be stage 7. So we get some barrels today. Almost got some energy, but since I missed some before, we didn't get that. But we should get enough to forge something today, right? No, I did it yesterday. Dang, okay. Either way, guys, well, thank y'all very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Best of luck in your faction wars. Much easier today than it was yesterday, and that is for sure. Quite a bit of cuts probably in this video, just because some of the stages just aren't worth watching. Kind of boring and slow, but either way, best of luck in yours. If you have any troubles or problems, let me know down in the comment section below, but I feel like this is going to be fairly easy for most players. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you in the next Faction War video.